Ready, Karen?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Wow, those guys were amazing.
Hats off to them. Hello, I am Shastika.
I am Karen McLean. We are the general co-chairs of WISC 2020.
Welcome to Wisk 2020. From the promise of physical Wisk 2020 taking place in Minneapolis to the actual representation of Wisk virtually in taking place all over the world, it has been a journey of design and a journey of resilience in the context of Me Too, through the shock of a relentless pandemic and the global reckoning of racial injustice. As we are at the crossroads of what is likely to be a very different normal, the question that we ask is, what is the place and responsibility today for HCI, and more specifically, technical HCI? This is the community to reflect on that. So virtual Wisk, what is different this year? So first of all, we have a shorter synchronous program, which is paired with opportunities to engage synchronously through elements like the gallery and Discord conversational spaces. Also, we selected the conference timing to be more inclusive and fair for our distributed participants. Everyone gets to be a little jet lag. We have a joint program with CSCWs, today being the overlap day. We have a virtual student innovation contest, and all of this while we are being social, respectful online in large groups. So the pre-conference activities already brought together folks. The gallery with the pre-recorded talks were released Monday. The doctoral symposium took place over the past couple of days. And yesterday, many of you participated in the welcome reception that took place in 3 different time slots. If you missed this opportunity for social interaction, no worries. There are many other opportunities to hang out on Discord, meet, and socialize. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our technical platforms, some of which you have already experienced. In our decision-making about the platforms, a key consideration was how can we support our interaction components, SIC, demos, posters, which are so important for Wisk and require major social and technical innovation. In addition, how can we provide a strong social component, which is perhaps the biggest loss when you're not able to meet in person? Of course, whatever platform we used needed to be robust, needed to be accessible, and scale to our needs. So the result that we have is a web-based gallery, which you see on the website, Zoom for watching talks, and Discord for all the interactions. And this we found to be the only viable solution that fit our criteria from many that we tested. So I'm now going to hand it over to our virtual experiences and operations chairs, who is going to explain the technical setup.
Hi, everyone. Also welcome from my side. My name is David Lindelbauer, and I'm one of the VEO co-chairs. With me is my co-chair, Thomas Langerak, and Nadia Peak, who is the social chair. And we are going to briefly introduce the platforms that we're going to use for Wisk. So we have 3 main parts for you to experience the virtual Wisk 2020. We have the web platforms to browse content, Zoom for all the paper session and plenaries, and Discord for interactive and the social program. Thomas, Nadia, and I, together really with the whole organization committee, carefully selected those platforms among many choices, prioritizing accessibility, familiarity, and the interactive experience. So the gallery, many of you have already seen, gives you direct access to Zoom and Discord, as well as content such as preview videos, short talks, long talks, and the papers in the digital library. Also, you can download the poster PDFs there. All the contents here, except for the video previews, are only available at this point for you as registered attendees until after the conference when this will be public. In addition to the gallery, we also have a nice table view on the website for great overview and direct Zoom and Discord links, as well as the SIGCHI web app and Confer for reading lists and recommendations. So check out also the announcements channel on Discord for links to all of these. We use Zoom in webinar mode for all events where attendees tune in at the same time. So we also have closed captioning enabled. So just click on the, as you see in your screen, the Live on Custom Streaming Service button, and then View to open the captions, the automated captions in a new browser window. For the Q&A here, it is important to note that we will use Discord. So if you have any questions for speakers and presenters, please go to the individual Discord channels. The questions will from Discord be relayed to the session chairs, but also presenters can, after the presentation, engage in the discussion. So next up is Thomas with Discord.
Yeah, so Discord is a platform that is very similar to Slack. It has the additional benefits of voice and video channels. Since it's extremely easy to enter and change and leave voice channels, we found it an ideal platform for the demos, posters, and student innovation contest. This also the central place for Wisk 2020 to ask all your questions and interact with others. And to help you to get familiar with Discord, we gathered some tricks and treats for you. First of all, the schedule. One of the easiest ways to navigate around Discord is with the help of the schedule channel. Here you can see all program items, including times and their corresponding Discord channels. Each program items channel has a link to the relevant Zoom webinars. Next up are infinite meeting rooms. In this category, we spawn a new meet room as soon as there is one taken. This means that there is always one available for you, your colleagues, or people you have met during the conference. If you already know which channel you want to join, you can use the shortcut Command or Ctrl+K, depending on your operating system. This opens a search box. From here, you can navigate directly to any channel. Use hashtag for text or the exclamation mark for voice channels. And finally, as a bonus, we will show you how to disconnect from a voice channel. This is especially hard when you're looking simultaneously at text channels. On the bottom left, you can see your current status, as well as a disconnect button. That is all from David and myself. Enjoy the conference, and back to Karen and Shamsi.
So next, we want to say a little bit more about how we're supporting our Wisk community, and we'll start with a registration report on who is here. So the latest update this morning is that we have 682 attendees, with a few more probably still trickling in. 103 of those are students, and 237 are non-ACM. I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment. We have 44 student volunteers this year. It was a big job to deliver the online program. They're coming from 12 countries. Our registrants are coming from 30 countries on all 6 continents, as you can see in the map. And 6 of those countries are new for WIST. We, as far as we know, have never had registrants from those countries. This year, we do have record attendance by a far margin. Tokyo in 2016 was 635. But this year we have 682 so far. This was something we hoped for with our virtual registration, since people didn't have to pay and travel as much to get here. But it was interesting to see that. But to break down the components a little bit, we can actually see that the most of the growth occurred in students. We have around 175 more students joining us, we think, joining us virtually today. There's a few things that are new about our program, which we've done to try and lower the barriers to participate and reach out to others. So we have developing country support of 2 kinds. There's ACM scholarships, for which we have 15 recipients, and we've also discounted registration substantially from others coming from the developing country, and we had 17 people take us up on that. So more networking that we need to develop there. Students can now register without ACM membership. We wanted every student who wanted to come to be able to come very easily. And we have 74 people who are attending both WIST and our sister conference, CSCW. It's very critical that we all feel comfortable here. And so our diversity comes from many sources. We might be our geographic origin, our gender, race, the language that we speak most easily. It could be how you were trained and the credentials of your university and the prestige of your university. And of course, how comfortable you are on Discord. All of these are going to change how we relate to others here and how comfortable we are. The team worked for 4 months to develop a code of conduct to actually make sure that the virtual platform was safe and comfortable for everyone. You had to read it and agree to it to actually make it this far. We take it very seriously, and if you have any concerns, if you see anything during the conference, please report it to, or you can report privately to any of the individuals on conference moderators list on Discord. We hope there's not going to be any of that happening, but we are in an abundance of caution, making sure that we're ready for it. And finally, very briefly, ACM and SIGCHI also care about this, and we have with us residents in our audience, actually a former WIST co-chair, Celine Latulippe, who is the representative from SIGCHI Cares, if there was anything that you wanted to reach out to her for.
So an important goal of our diversity team was to encourage participation from folks for whom WIST is typically not easily accessible in a physical setup. And as Karen mentioned in her slides a little while ago, we offer discounted and free registrations to participants from developing countries. We also selected our time zone with geographic inclusion in mind. We invited a keynote speaker who speaks to a path forward through the lens of design justice. But this is just the beginning. There are many more ideas that we could implement. Please participate in the diversity channel in Discord to share your ideas. WIST's commitment to accessibility featured heavily in our platform selection, where we wanted to make sure that vision and hearing impairments were being handled adequately. Also, this is the second year where all papers are made accessible. And in addition, this year, the entire proceeding is also screen reader accessible. All live and recorded content will be captioned. Special thanks to our authors for doing this on their recorded presentations. A virtual conference offers a unique opportunity for collecting baseline data on what it means to have a conference without many of the environmental costs that comes with a physical conference. And this is something that our keynote speaker from last year's WISC, Christina Lopez, had speculated on. A survey that our sustainability chairs put together will be coming out during the conference. Please share your thoughts. So let's dig deeper into the scientific program. First, our co-location with our sister conference, CSCW. For the CSCW participants who have joined us, a warm welcome to you all. In addition to offering discounts for joint registration, which many of you did avail, today we have a number of events to celebrate the synergy between these two communities. This starts off with a WIST plus CSCW panel, which will be starting right after the opening remarks, followed by a WIST plus CSCW bingo event during the coffee break. And throughout the day, participants from each conference can attend talks of the other conference. WIST attendees can find the Zoom links under the CSCW schedule channel on Discord. And just to give you a taste of what is coming up in terms of plenaries, here is a teaser. And on that note, I'm going to hand it over to Pascal, who will talk about the Student Innovation Contest.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pascal Fortin, and I'm here today with Koji Yatani, my Student Innovation Contest co-chair. So with our first virtual WIST and really the constraints imposed by this global pandemic, we really had to rethink how the Student Innovation Contest could take place while ensuring that it retains its interactive and entertaining exploratory nature. Without the ability to ship hardware all over the planet, which is our usual approach, we instead decided to really focus this year's on a theme. And the theme this year is letting the distance bring us together. So teams were encouraged to propose systems that presented novel solutions to some of the problems caused by the COVID pandemic, especially when we consider how many of us have been or still are in lockdown. Since you wouldn't be able to try out the systems, the emphasis was less on the actual implementation and more on the depth and novelty of the team's solution. They were also really encouraged to make sure it's interactive and entertaining throughout the interactive sessions. We've received amazing submissions, and the Student Innovation Contest teams are extremely excited to showcase their work with the community. We really hope that you'll take the time to come and interact with them, because for many cases, as is often the case in the Student Innovation Contest, for many students, it's their first time and first contact with the WISC community, so it's the perfect moment to really make them feel welcome. Before I leave the stage, or not really a stage, is it? Before I leave the stage to the program chairs, Thursday and Friday morning, we'll have interactive program sessions, which will include demos, posters, student innovation contests, and doctoral consortium. We'll be sending out voting instructions for these tomorrow morning. So please remember to look out for those instructions and remember to vote during the interactive sessions.
You're muted, Stephanie.
Always the same problems. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Müller.
And my name is Fanny Chevalier.
And together we have been serving as the program chairs for WIST 2020. We want to use the next couple of minutes to update you on the WIST 2020 paper submission numbers and also describe the changes we made to the reviewing process this year because of the special situation. So in total, we received 625 abstract submissions, which resulted in 450 paper submissions on the day of the paper deadline. So if you compare this to last year, this is an extra 69 papers, which is an increase in submissions by 15%. So on the bottom left side, you see a graph of WIST paper submissions over the years. And the bottom line is we continue to grow at a pretty rapid pace. So in fact, if you think about this, like 10 years ago, we had only roughly half the number of paper submissions. So we are literally doubling in 10 years at the moment. So out of the 450 paper submissions, 97 papers were accepted at the PC meeting and will be presented at this year's WIST. And this is an acceptance rate of 21.56%. If you look at the graph on the left side, again, this is in line with the acceptance rate of past WISTs. So we are well, going forward on this. So when Fanny and I planned out the WIST submission process at the end of last year's, obviously none of us had any idea what was laying ahead of us. So we had set the original paper deadline to April the 1st, 2020. But in late February and early March, it was quickly becoming obvious that with all the challenges everyone was facing, this was completely unrealistic. So in an effort to provide as much extra time as possible, we extended the paper deadline twice, with the final deadline being on May 6th. So this was made possible by some changes in the reviewing process. In particular, we removed the rebuttal phase, which then also removed the need for the external reviewers to respond to the rebuttal and also for the ACs to update their meta reviews. However, the time for assigning external reviewers and also for the external reviewing phase was the same in previous years to ensure quality. So in addition, we had planned the PC meeting to be at MIT in Boston, but that also didn't happen. So we had a virtual PC meeting for the first time, and Fanny is going to tell you more about this now.
So yes, we're still growing, and as a result, we had to keep growing the program committee as well to 68 PC members this year, which is 24 more than last year. And as much as we like each other, you can imagine that this is no longer possible, sustainable to fit everybody in a single room for the PC meeting, be it physical or virtual. We had planned a split already for the physical. So what happened, we split the papers and the ACs into two groups, and we ran the PC meeting synchronously over Zoom for these two groups. So over 2 days of the PC meeting, we had a mix of general sessions all together for calibration, as well as parallel sessions for each split to go over the whole program. So this was a lot of work for our AC, so please join me in warmly thanking all of our PC members for their hard work and for bearing with Stephanie and I during this process. Virtual clap for everybody. Thank you also to Daniel Victor, Jeff Kwang, and the SVs who have come to the rescue to help us run this virtual PC meeting. It was a lot of logistics, so thank you very warmly to them as well. And of course, the WIST paper program could not happen with the efforts that many of you put into the reviews. So we had more than 2,200 reviews completed by close to 800 individual reviewers. Thank you to all of the external reviewers for their hard work as well, with a special mention to these externals here on the right, bottom right charts who have completed 5 or more reviews. So thank you all, and the authors as well. So now we have an exciting program for the conference. There are keynotes, visions, demos, posters, student contests, social events, and so forth. I just wanted to indicate that for the paper program at the very high level, we have 3 parallel tracks. And these are roughly organized by themes, very roughly. So on the left track, you would have mostly interaction techniques and desktop interfaces. On the middle track, you would have fabrication, shapes, electronics, and SIG. And on the right track, it's mostly VR, AR, and haptics. Things are more subtle, of course, but it's roughly the structure that we have for the 3 days. And finally, you can identify in the program the best of WIST, best papers, and best paper honorable mention that Wendy and Michael will talk about in more details in just a second. But for now, thank you all for being with us. Have a blast, enjoy the conference.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wendy Mackay, and Michael should be there as well, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. So we're delighted to present the Best Paper Awards. and the honorable mention awards. But before we start, I'd like to just say something about the awards process. What happens first is the reviewers nominate papers, and then the program committee nominates the best papers based on their nominations and the program committees of individual assessments. And then the award co-chairs, which is Michael and me, review all the nominations and decide which ones. Now, ACM has a rule where the top 5% of submissions are eligible for honorable mention awards, and the top 1% are eligible for best paper awards. So for this year at WIST 2020, we have 4 honorable mention awards and 3 best paper awards. And that should shift here. And so it's my pleasure to announce the honorable mention awards. And we have, right. So the first 2 are HAP linkage, prototyping haptic proxies for virtual hand tools using linkage mechanisms. And this is from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and in China and KAIST in the Republic of Korea. And the second one is modeling 2-dimensional touch pointing from Stony Brook University and Google in the US.
Great. And the next awards go to programmable filament, printed filaments for multi-material 3D printing from the Meiji University in Japan, as well as to Reality Sketch embedding responsive graphics and visualization in AR through dynamic sketching. So this is from the University of Colorado. So let's give them a big applause. And finally, we go to the best paper awards.
Yes, and the first best paper award is Elastic, a handheld variable stiffness display for rendering dynamic haptic response of flexible objects. And I'm sorry if I mispronounce the names, but it's by Nyong Ryu, Woojin Lee, Myung Jin Kim, and Andrea Bianchi from KAIST of the Republic of Korea. Congratulations.
And the next paper goes to Handmorph, a passive exoskeleton that miniaturizes grasp, and the authors are Jun Nishida, Sojiro Matsuda, Hiroshi Matsui, Jianyuan Teng, Ziwei Liu, Genji Suzuki, and Pedro Lopez from the University of Chicago. And finally,
excuse me, you just did that. Multimodal repairs of conversational breakdowns in task-oriented dialogues, Toby Lee, Jinya Chen, Haijun Xia, Tom Mitchell, and Brad Myers from Carnegie Mellon University and UC San Diego. Congratulations. Thank you, bye-bye.
And so we're just about off to the conference. To send you off, we wanted to give a big thanks to our sponsors who gave us lots of money. We have Facebook Reality Labs, Autodesk, Adobe, and Microsoft, as well as our technical sponsors, SIGCHI and ACM SIGGRAPH. On Discord, you will find channels specifically to interact with our sponsors, and they're quite active already. We saw a lot of traffic on there yesterday, so go and visit and say hi. And I know that one of the things that our sponsors are looking for are new employees in many ways, in many cases. So students, this is a good place to go. And I just remember we forgot to put the link on here for our jobs channel, which is also available on Discord. So please take a look there if you're searching for a job. And then final reminders before you head off. Here's what we want you to do. Be active on Discord. So here's our hashtags for Twitter and Instagram. Please share what you see if it's interesting to you. The next up on the program is you're going to switch to a new webinar for the WIST and CSCW panel, which we're so excited about. This is the one that's joint between WIST and CSCW and features technical HCI, systems HCI, and collaboration over the decades. We have 8 panelists who were made primary contributions in each decade for that period of time. It's going to be very exciting, streaming on live on YouTube. So these links are live now. You can find the links on the program, which is on our website, available from the WIST website, the attendee version. They're also available on Discord in the schedule channel. So there's multiple places you can find them. Watch it on Zoom. And then Q&A for this one case, just for this one session, is going to be through Slido rather than on Discord. And this is because it's a joint panel with CSCW, and we had to find something that spans the two panels. So you can actually access that from the specific Discord channel for this event, which is WIST Opening Plenary. Again, you can find that through the schedule channel on Discord, or you can search for it and find it directly. So we'll see you there shortly. And that's it for now.